Buongiorno everyone, welcome back to the Magpie channel. Lineup predictions here for tomorrow's game at St James's Park against bottom place Norwich City. Norwich are rock bottom at the minute, 6 points deep. Like Watford in 19th are 6 points ahead of them. This is a massive opportunity for us to get 3 points here. We're currently sitting in 14th place on 30 points. In quite a tight gap, like we're kind of like at the bottom of between 9th and 14th. There's only 1 point between it. Like that's like so close that. We're 7 points clear of the bottom three. So we're doing well here now. We're 6 games unbeaten at the minute. Most of the games have been pretty shit, to be honest. Like a couple of snatch and grabs against Everton and Chelsea. 3 of those games have been against League One opposition and 2 of them have been draws. So we're 6 points unbeaten. 6 games unbeaten, sorry. We haven't lost a game, I don't think, since New Year's Day, since that fucking destruction against Leicester City. So it's not all doom and gloom. Like, we have been picking up points where we've needed them. And happy deadline day. Transfer deadline day today. We're getting Nabil Bentaleb, Valentino Lazaro and Danny Rose through the door just yesterday. Reports saying that there's probably not going to be much more business today. I think that's it in terms of in. Out, there could be a few. Key set to leave. I've heard that even if he doesn't get a transfer, he's going to be omitted from the 25-man squad anyway, so that clears up a space. The injury to Jetro Willems, that's clearing up a space. We have had, apparently, a record-breaking bid accepted, but the players rejected it. The bid is £45 million plus add-on bonuses for 20-year-old French under-21 international Lille centre midfielder Bakary Samari. But he's turned down the move, apparently. So that's a bit of a shitter, but make that what you will. I'm not going to get into Mike Ashley and the takeover talk. Like, we've been there. Watch the other videos for that. Like, if you believe it, great. If not, then that's your prerogative, whatever. So yeah, money has been offered, apparently, while 3 deals in have been loans. We've been trying to get other ones in. We've tried twice to get Olivier Giroud in on loan, but him as well as Samori has rejected it. I don't know why. Well, I do. I think Giroud's likely on his way to either Napoli or Lazio. So we'll not be getting him, and unfortunately, Jared Bowen looks like he's off to West Ham. He's another one that everyone wanted in. Every Newcastle fan wanted Jared Bowen in, but I think various others have as well. I've seen fans of Leicester and Arsenal and various others show their disappointment on Twitter that they haven't getting him. Crystal Palace had a bid accepted yesterday, but right now it seems like he's off for a medical at West Ham. In terms of Brucey's press conference this morning and the injury news, John Joe Shelby's going to be out for a few weeks. Say he's done a hamstring. I think initially it seemed like 5 to 6 weeks, but could be more, 2 to 3. Florian Lejeune is still a doubt. He's been back in training for the last couple of days and is okay, but I think he's still doubtful. Carroll, Muto and Gale are all out. So we only have one eligible striker, which just emphasises our need to bring another one in. Like, clearly, Muto's not quite good enough. Gale hasn't been hitting the ground this season. There's a chance he could go out by the end of today. Nottingham Forest put a bid in yesterday, a loan deal with a £15 million obligation to sign him at the end of the season, should they get promoted. So, if we can squeeze out a deal for any striker at the minute, I would take him. We should try a little bit harder to convince Giroud to come in. I think that would be a great signing. There's a couple of others we've been linked with, but we'll see how the day pans out. Keep an eye on the Magpie channel. Matt Renty will be putting out videos, uploading on the Instagram and on the Twitter, keeping you updated on all that. So back to the game tomorrow. We are playing Norwich, bottom of the league. Massive opportunity here. We'll get into the lineup. Quite clearly 5 at the back, as per. Martin Dubravka in goal. Carl Darlow played great against Oxford. We should be saving him for the replay on Tuesday. At fullback, Yedlin should be keeping his place, I would imagine. Didn't have his greatest game against Oxford, to be honest. I was a little bit disappointed in Yedlin's performance there, but We are out of options. Manquillo and who's the other one? Kraft are all out still. Kraft's a bit of a lengthy one. Manquillo should be back after the international break. That's another point Brucey made. Like after the cup game, we've got a little winter break. So by the time we play Arsenal in about nearly 3 weeks' time, 2-3 weeks' time, a lot more players should be back. You're talking Kraft probably not quite, but certainly Manquillo, Gale, Carroll, Muto, players like that. Key's still injured, but he'll be here come mid-February. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Centre backs, I would start the same way we did the other day, which is Shaw, Lascelles and Clark. Federico Fernandez on the bench. Again, that's the same lineup we played against Oxford, where defensively we weren't really great. Oxford cut open quite a few times on the counter-attack, but I'd put that down to an off game. That obviously wasn't the Newcastle that we know. We should have been tighter. We should have been smashing Oxford. But them three, should they be fit, great players. Shaw, Lascelles, certainly two of our best players at centre-back. Lejeune would be another option if he's fit. Like he may well be in the squad, I don't know. But certainly Kieran Clark, he's been pretty good lately. His game against Chelsea particularly was outstanding. And on the left-hand side, I think Shaw's better on the right, whereas Clark's better on the left. And Federico Fernandez, again, I think he's better on the right-hand side. But with Shaw back in, Shaw's my main man. Like, Federico Fernandez deserves a lot of credit for the game time and the effort he put in over the winter period. But obviously, I think he deserves a little bit of time off. Like, he doesn't deserve to be dropped in any way. I think he's a fantastic player. I rate Federico Fernandez massively. Deserves a lot more credit. But if Shaw's back in contention, then I think Shaw definitely should be back in the team. Left wing back. We've got a new guy there, but for me, I'm going to stick with Matt Ritchie. Ritchie, he's a great player to have in the team. I think during the injuries he had, he was massively, massively missed. I think since he's came back, his impact's been felt. He always puts in so much effort, Matt Ritchie, and he is a leader. He could be a future captain if he's going to stay long enough. Like, he is the kind of player that just tells you how it is. No bullshit. He'll scream in your face. He'll just tell you, and that's exactly what you need, Matt Ritchie. Like, as well as the effort that he puts in, definitely captain material. But Danny Rose, bench. It's a little bit too soon for Rose, I believe. He only came in yesterday. He'll have his first training session today with the boys. It's a little bit too soon for me. Andy hasn't had a lot of game time this season, so I definitely wouldn't be throwing him straight in at the deep end. Norwich could be a great place for him to go, but I think a better place for him to go would be Oxford on Tuesday. I don't believe he's cup tied. I seen yesterday someone say that he isn't eligible for the FA Cup, but I checked Tottenham's lineup history yesterday for the FA Cup. They're 3 games, third round replay against Middlesbrough. Wasn't in the Matchday squad for either of those games, and Saturday against Southampton wasn't in that squad either. So he should be eligible for Tuesday's game against Oxford. Great place for him to go in. Hopefully we should see them through like we did in the replay against Rochdale. I know, like, in the initial games we made it so much harder for than needed to be. We should have been getting past these so much easier, man. These replays are bullshit, but we did the right thing against Rochdale in the replay. We've just seen it off early, 3-0 at half time. Got another one in the second half. We need to do the same. And Danny Rose is out of confidence at the minute. So I like an easy win should be, if I'm saying that with my fingers crossed, it should be an easy win, easy game. Danny Rose, great place for him to make his debut, make his impact felt in the squad and get some confidence up. That's the main thing. So yeah, keep Danny Rose. Obviously, he's experienced enough, so if we do need to bring him on, if anything happens to Matt Ritchie, he's experienced enough. Like, there's no reason why he can't or shouldn't play. But I think one day training and lack of probably match fitness, I wouldn't be throwing him in just yet. But great option to have nonetheless. In centre mid, another of the new boys, Nabil Bentaleb. He started against Oxford and I actually thought he was great. I think he's definitely going to be a great inclusion into this squad. I wasn't really too sure when we signed him. I didn't really know how he would fit in, but he is actually a great player. He was very impressive against Oxford, and obviously with injuries to Shelvey and Key likely being on the way out, we do need a centre mid. I've seen a lot of people saying that we don't need him. Like, we don't need a centre mid when he was brought in. We're like, oh, we need a striker, we need a fullback. Nah, I definitely think we did need a player like Bentaleb. I'm happy with that signing. He's a great inclusion. Alongside him, Isaac Hayden. He's another one like Matt Ritchie, always gives 100%. And I'd be happy to see him not play fullback. Like, he's been filling in well there, but he's a centre mid. Like, the engine in the middle of the park, that's what Isaac Hayden is. Another one, 110%. Captain qualities. He plays in any position. He's played right fullback, left fullback, centre back, all over the shop this season. Never complained, and always he's been great. Like, so Isaac Hayden in there definitely alongside Nabil Bentaleb. On the bench, Matty and Sean Longstaff. They're both available. Oh, I've just woke up, my mouth's dry as fuck. Matty and Sean Longstaff providing cover on the bench for centre mid position. We've spoke about Sean. I'm not going to get too much into it. Like, we know his performances haven't been great this season, but Matty has been outstanding. Hopefully we can get a contract tied up for him soon, because he is out at the end of the season. Great young prospect, only 19 years old. The same as Hayden, puts in so much effort. You can see he loves playing for the shirt. Out wide, Almiron on the right, or the left, doesn't really matter. And Sir Maximin on the other side. It's disappointing that we couldn't get that win against Oxford, man. When you look at what front, we played our strongest team. Like, this is why, like, I'm worried about Norwich. Like, these are the kind of games that Newcastle typically lose to. Obviously, we did earlier on in the season, away, second game of the season, second game under Brucey, and we got smashed away to recently promoted Norwich, 3-1 in a shocking performance. But tables have turned. Norwich were doing better at the start of the season. They were playing really, really good. Pukki was on fire. They beat Man City. But now, like as I said before, they're rock bottom of the table, 6 points away from 19th place. Like, they're quite away, like rooted at the bottom of the table there. Don't think there's any chance of them getting out. Probably will be getting relegated. So this is the kind of game, especially at home, that we need to be putting effort in. Unlike the game the other day, like Almiron and Sir Maximin, that too good. Like, what's that strike force? It's about 80 million. 80 million pound, and we cannot beat the likes of Oxford. So we need to really, really up our game from last week to tomorrow against Norwich. Hopefully Sir Maximin's fit. He hasn't really looked himself the last couple of weeks, particularly the game against Chelsea. Looked the shadow of the man. Missed out the game against Everton, but against Oxford again, you could see there was a bit more energy there. He was a bit more fitter than he was the previous week, but still not really up to scratch. Not what we would like to see. He's quite clearly a fan favourite. When he gets on the ball, he lifts everyone's mood. Everyone's up off their feet. Everyone's just buzzing to see what he's going to do. Like, he's so unpredictable. Like, he's so quick and skillful. He's exactly the kind of player we wanted at Newcastle. We could do with a couple more like him. End product still a little bit of a question, but he's definitely the main man, as well as Miguel Almiron. Really came into his own last month in December. Got his first goal just before Christmas. Bagged a couple more against Rochdale in both legs. And his performances have kept up. He hasn't gotten a goal, I think, since the FA Cup replay against Rochdale, but he's another one, 110%. So much energy, fights for every ball. Become really important defensively. And I never thought I would have said that from last season, where he was a little skinny twig, looked like he'd get bundled over in a stiff breeze. But he's really, really an important, integral figure to this team, both offensively and defensively. Cover for them, Valentino Lazaro, of course, and Christian Atsu. I'll put him in there to fill up the bench. Like, we haven't got any strikers, as I said. Carroll, Muto and Gale all expected to be out. We could put Sorensen or Allen in there, but we didn't play with a striker against Chelsea. Chelsea's lineup, no strikers there. I think towards the end of the game, Sir Maximin ended up top. In the game against Everton, Sean Longstaff ended up playing up top for a bit. I just don't think Brucey trusts in the kids. He said in the FA Cup he didn't really want to play them. He wants to play his strongest team because he's going for it, which I do respect. But like that, it's maybe great experience for them being on the bench, being included in the first team. But if they're not going to get played, it's irrelevant, really, man. What's the point? Like in what other games, Kel Watts was brought in against Wolves, Liam Gibson against Everton. Tom Allen's been on the bench a fair bit in the Premier League over the last few weeks. Sorensen as well in the FA Cup, but the only time we've actually seen them is Tom Allen against Rochdale in the FA Cup for about 20 minutes. He's the only kid we've really seen this season if you exclude Matty Longstaff. When there's been opportunities there, they've been on the bench. Cass was on against Rochdale first time. Francelet was took down to Rochdale but didn't even get in the squad. So I don't really see any point in even putting the kids on the bench if they're not going to be included. I think Atsu's probably more likely to be included. He's got more experience. If we need a winger, he's there. But Lazaro can fill in as a fullback as well. Like I said, DeAndre Yedlin's fitness hasn't been great lately. His performances certainly haven't been great. So Lazaro can fill in there. I thought we might have needed him as cover for a left fullback as well until we brought Danny Rose in. So that's another reason why I'm buzzing to get Rose in. Playing players out of position maybe is where they're not so comfortable. So that excludes Lazaro there, but he can't play there if need be. So Lazaro can play right fullback or right or left wing. So great inclusion there. Atsu as well, right or left. I'm buzzing to see Lazaro, another new player. Hope he can get included. Hope he can get like 15, 20 minutes or something. I've heard a lot of good things about him. I don't know too much about him. I haven't really seen him play. But he seems like he's got flair. He's got a lot of pace. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him. But bench for now, unless he can replace Yedlin at fullback, I'm not sure. But ahead of Almiron and Smaxman, nah, not yet. I think he needs to prove it and earn that spot. Atsu has been trying for, all season and hasn't gotten ahead of them unless there's been a fitness or an injury issue. Up top, obviously, Joelinton. Need to get a couple of goals from him. This could be a decent place to get it, but I have been saying that for about 9 years now, it feels. No strikers to go on the bench. Joelinton's the only one that can play there. And against bottom of the league, Norwich, surely he can do your job, man. I'd love to see him get a goal, possibly 2, an assist maybe. Just a big performance from him. I think we really, really need a big performance from Joelinton tomorrow. He played all right in the defeat, second game of the season. I remember he had a header that he should have had on target. It was a peach of a ball, I think, from Hayden, I think it was. I can't remember, out wide on the right. But beautiful ball in. Good header, but just pulled it wide. Like an in-form, confident striker. If that was Shearer or Carroll, that would have been a goal. No questions about it. So, looking for a big game from Joelinton tomorrow. Hopefully he can last the 90 minutes because we've got no one else. Going to have to mix things up. If not, he has picked up a couple of injuries lately as well. He hasn't really, like towards the end of the games, he's hobbled off a little bit. He's fought on as well in a couple of games. I think it wasn't Everton. It was the week before. He picked up an injury, carried on, but that's why we've had to deal with Sean Longstaff or Sir Maximin going up top, players out of position. So hopefully he can get through, get a goal, get an assist, big performance. Want to give him a big 10 out of 10 rating in player ratings. And that's all from me this morning. Let me know what you guys think of the lineup. Is there anything else you would do? Want to see Danny Rose or Lazaro start? Let me know. What do you think the score will be? I'm going to go for a Newcastle win. I don't know what though. 2-1. Yeah, 2-1 Newcastle. Like and subscribe to the Magpie Channel TV. Thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy yourself.